I don't think most people realize what's happening to work right now, and the strange part is, I didn't notice it at first either. Everyone keeps talking about how much smarter AI is getting, but that's not the thing that caught my attention. What caught my attention was how much work started disappearing. Not jobs, work. The little tasks that quietly eat up your day. Research, emails, meeting notes, planning, stuff I used to spend hours doing every week. A few months ago, I got curious and started trying every AI tool I could find. At first, I was just looking for small improvements. Maybe save a little time here and there. That's not what happened. Looking back now, there are entire parts of my workflow I barely touch anymore. And what surprised me most wasn't the technology. It was realizing how many people are still using AI the exact same way they were a year ago. Meanwhile, a small group of people are building systems around it, and the gap between those two groups is getting bigger every month. The first tool completely changed how I approach work, and that's ChatGPT. But probably not in the way most people use it. Most people open ChatGPT when they need an answer. I started using it before I needed one. Instead of reacting to problems, I began building workflows. For example, let's say I want to create a YouTube video. A few years ago, I would have researched the topic manually, taken notes, created an outline, organized ideas, and then started writing. Today, ChatGPT helps me compress that entire process. But what surprised me wasn't that it could generate ideas. It was how often it pointed out things I hadn't considered. Weak angles, missing pieces, questions I wasn't asking. And sometimes that's more valuable than the answer itself. What used to take an hour might now take 15 minutes. Not because the work disappeared, because the friction disappeared. That's when I realized AI wasn't just helping me work faster. It was helping me get started faster. The second tool became incredibly valuable when projects got larger. That's Claude. And Claude becomes incredibly useful when context matters. Long documents, research notes, large projects, complicated ideas, anything where you need the bigger picture. What surprised me most wasn't how smart Claude felt. It was how much information I no longer had to keep in my head. Because most knowledge work isn't difficult. It's exhausting. The constant switching between tabs, documents, research, notes, context. Claude became the place where everything could come together. Instead of constantly organizing information, I could spend more time actually thinking about it. And that's a recurring theme you'll notice throughout this video. The best AI tools don't just save time. They save attention. The third tool changed how I research. That's Perplexity. Because information isn't hard to find anymore. Reliable information is. Perplexity feels less like a search engine and more like a research assistant. Instead of opening 10 browser tabs, I can often get a structured starting point in minutes. Sources, references, summaries, key insights, all in one place. And while I still verify important information, the amount of time saved is significant. But somewhere along the way, I realized I was paying attention to the wrong thing. I originally thought AI was helping me complete tasks faster. But eventually I realized that wasn't the real shift. The real shift was how many tasks I stopped touching altogether. And once I noticed that, I started asking a completely different question. Not, how do I do this faster? But, why am I doing this manually in the first place? That question changed everything. Because that's where automation enters the picture. Halfway through using these tools, I realized I was paying attention to the wrong thing. I kept measuring how much time AI was saving. But that wasn't the interesting part. The interesting part was how many tasks I stopped touching altogether. And once I noticed that, I started asking a completely different question. Not, how do I do this faster? But why am I doing this manually in the first place? That question changed everything. Because once you start asking that question, you stop looking for better tools, and you start looking for better systems. And that's where things start getting really interesting. The fourth tool is Make. And this is where things start feeling different. Because Make allows multiple tools to work together. Someone fills out a form, an email gets sent, a task gets created, a notification appears. Nobody touches anything. It just happens. Think about that for a second. Most people use AI one prompt at a time. Automation allows entire sequences of work to happen without constant involvement. That's when AI starts behaving less like software and more like a system. Zapier serves a very similar role. But honestly, the bigger lesson isn't which platform you choose. It's realizing how much work is repetitive. Every business has processes that happen over and over again. Lead notifications, follow-ups, scheduling, organization, data entry. And once you notice how much work is repetitive, you start seeing automation opportunities everywhere. This is the category I'm paying the most attention to right now. AI agents. Because agents represent something fundamentally different. Most AI tools wait for instructions. Agents can actually work toward an outcome. That's a massive distinction. We're still early. Very early. But the direction is becoming obvious. The future isn't just AI answering questions. The future is AI completing workflows. And that's where things get interesting. Because the gap between people using AI casually and people using AI strategically is growing fast. After months of using these tools, I came to a realization. The tools aren't the advantage. The systems are. Most people spend their time looking for the newest AI tool. But the people getting the biggest results are building repeatable systems around the tools they already have. That's where leverage comes from. Not working harder, not working longer, building systems that multiply your effort. And I think that's the part most people still haven't realized. The AI tools doing 80% of my work aren't valuable because they're impressive. They're valuable because they changed how I think about work itself. The question is no longer, how can I get more done? The question is, what should I stop doing altogether? Because the people who learn that lesson early are going to have a massive advantage over the next few years. So now I'm curious, which AI tool has actually changed the way you work? Not just saved time, actually changed how you work? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in AI, automation, leverage, and the systems quietly changing how work gets done, subscribe. Because that's what this channel is about. Not chasing every new AI tool, understanding the bigger shift happening underneath them. And honestly, I think we're still incredibly early.